Jai Shri Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, this chapter about Kshetra and Kshetragna Vibhag Yoga is very difficult to understand since it contains the Gyan of Apara Prakriti, Para Prakriti and Purush. This whole Gyan is in this chapter. And if we don't try to understand properly, then we miss it out. Simply put, the Apara Prakriti makes up the body. So Bhagavan Krishna has said in chapter 7, Shlok 4, Bhumirap anolo vayu kham mano buddhirevacha ahankar iti yamme bhinna prakriti ashtadha. This ashtadha prakriti of Parameshwar is Apara Prakriti. It contains 5 bhoot, 5 bhoot. What are those? Bhumi, earth. Aap, bhumir aap, anal, water and fire. Wind, vayu, and kham, akash, space, empty space. Then it also contains 3 more elements, which are man, buddhi and ahankar. Now, man represents rajogun. So these are 3 gunas. Buddhi represents satogun and ahankar represents tamogun. So this way the Ashtadha Prakriti is made up of 5 elements and 3 gunas. So, and that is called Apara Prakriti, lower Prakriti. And then in next slok, Bhagavan talks about the higher Prakriti, the Para Prakriti. Now, what we have to understand, these 5 bhoot, which are in Apara Prakriti, they are just bhoot, okay, elements. The power behind the element is the power of Devta, which is in Para Prakriti. Okay? So, take for example, water. Water itself cannot do anything. There is a power of Devata, Varuna Devata, which acts through the water. That's what gives the water. You cannot compress the water because of that Devata power. Water can erode things because it cannot be compressed. So if it rains some place, slowly it will erode that place. Okay? Same way about Vayu. There is Vayu Devata. In Vedic mantra they say Vayu Devata, Agnir Devata. So what they are saying, these Devata powers are behind each individual element. So the Devata power works through those 5 elements and 3 gunas. All Devatas are Trigunatmak. So if you suppose, take for example, you are building a wall. You need bricks. So the bricks are represented by 5 elements. One of them is Bhumi. So you got brick out of it. But to make that brick, you need water. Okay? You need other knowledge. That all is coming from Para Prakriti. So these 2 work hand in hand. And Bhagavan Krishna says in Shlok 5 that this Para Prakriti, what it does, Yayedam dharyate jagat. It is holding the whole jagat. Makes sense? Understand now? There is a physical element to this jagat, right? Prapanch. And what keeps it together is the Devata power, the Para Prakriti of Paramatma. Other than if it is not there, nothing will stay together. So that is what here we have to understand. So this body is made up of 5 Ashtadha Prakritis in there, and also the Para Prakriti is also working in the body, which keeps everything together and keeps it working. So, and this is kept put together and held together for Jeev, which resides in it. So this body is made up of Paraprakriti, Aparaprakriti, and Paraprakriti operates it for the Jeev who is residing in it. Why is it residing? Jeev is residing in it. Is residing in it for the duration of its karam phal. As long as I have to go through our karam phal, my own karam phal in this body, that Paraprakriti or the Devata will keep this body together for me to enjoy or experience the karam phal which I am supposed to have in this body. So last time we saw what Bhagavan said about the Kshetra. We saw that there are 36 entities that are in human body. Please try to understand that our body is made up of particles, right? Called Parmanu. Each one of these Parmanu is composed of many smaller particles which we cannot see. All of these are held together by the Shakti of Devata. When a Jeev is scheduled to be born, Devata develops physical attraction between a male and a female. It's not an accident. Okay? It's all programmed. Their union produces a zygote, which develops into a fetus. The Jeev is then brought into the fetus within a few days. If an abortion is performed prior to the arrival of the Jeev, it is called Bhrun Hatya, or the destruction of someone's future abode. After the arrival of the Jeev, it is like murder. Murdering somebody. Both actions result in hell for parties involved. It's very serious business. Because this way you are interfering, person is interfering in the work of the Devata. And Devata does not like that. Now, as the fetus grows, it is given all the traits which pertain to the karam phal of that Jeev. Some people have taller body, they grow in tall body. Some people have no hair when they are born. Some people have hair. They are all different things. Whatever is the karam phal, that kind of body is given, both physically and otherwise. During the lifespan, the powers of Devata are always working to administer that fruit to the Jeev. Constantly, ceaselessly, day and night, doesn't sleep. The Devata which gives the body and administers the fruit of action is called Deha Bhimanini Devata. Could be any Devata, depending on what karam phal is going to be administered. See, we just learned earlier, a while ago, that Vayu, there is Vayu Devata. So when we are breathing, What is working? So why you devta? Breathing, bringing air in and out. Called pran. So pran is like a pakheru. It's a pran pakheru. Bird-like. Flies away. So that pran comes in with jeev, and when jeev is taken out, the pran goes out. Although we think that all which is happening is being done by us, okay? This is our ignorance. Everything is being done by Devta with their Shakti. We have no Shakti, we have no power. When the sixth vikar, we learned last time there are six vikars happen in the body. When the sixth vikar of the body called Vinashyati or the death occurs, just before it happens, the jeev is removed from that body and the body dies. Devtas are gone, all Shakti is gone, now the body disintegrates. Now since there are no Devta powers working in the body, it cannot be held together and it starts to decompose and rot. The body is sthul prapanch. It's made up of sthul prapanch and is made up of cells. All the cells have DNA which is peculiar to the individual jeev. Information is there. In that it contains all the information regarding the entire life processes of that jeev. So in the body there are 36 components which make up the body and operate it. The jeev is kept pervaded in the body with the sole purpose for experiencing the fruit of the action. That's the only purpose there is that Devta gives. However, when in the human body, the jeev has the right to perform karma. Bhagavan Krishna said in 2nd chapter, Shlok 47, Karmanyevadhikaraste. Jeev has been given the power, authority to conduct or perform karma in that body, human body. No other body does that, only human body. This is the opportunity which is given to jeev so he can perform karma that will free him from the bondage of three gunas of Prakriti. These are karma as described in the Bhakti Yoga. We just completed chapter 12. Those are all described in there. The word Prakriti has many meanings. Maya, the primordial Shakti of Ishwar, is called Prakriti. So are all Devata and our body, the Kshetra, is all Prakriti. In addition, our nature also is called Sahaj Swabhav, meaning it is born with us. We are born with our unique nature. Everybody has different nature. And that also is called Prakriti. Now let us take a moment to understand the process of bondage of the jeev. How does jeev get in bondage? Bandhan, karma bandhan. In our body, we constantly are subject to whatever our senses are perceiving all the time. That which we are sensing through the senses, we either like or dislike. There's no other third thing. Either we like something or we dislike it. Over time, these likes and dislikes are etched into our mind. They don't go away. That's what called conditioning of the mind. When you like something, mind conditioned one way. You don't like something, it's conditioned another way. But that all conditioning keeps on going. It doesn't go away. And thus becomes our nature. This is what our swabhav is. That's why some people like sweet things, some people like sour things, right? Everybody has different swabhav, because that's what has been etched for life after life after life. We act accordingly, according to our swabhav, and are subject to the bondage of our actions. This liking and disliking is what causes the bondage. So what do we gain from the knowledge of Kshetra? Is it clear now why Karam Bandhan is there? Why we are bondage? Bondage is like and dislike. And that's what happened when we come into this world. We are experiencing that like and dislike. And everybody is doing it differently. So one has to be equanimous, right? When you don't like anything, you don't dislike anything. Everything is same. Once that state is achieved, that action has no bondage. They cannot bind you. So what we gain from the knowledge of Kshetra? It is that since we call Kshetra the Prakriti, the Apara Prakriti, in which the Para Prakriti is always active. So, what it is that Para Prakriti is doing? It is giving us the experience of the fruit of our action in the form of pleasure or pain. Sukh and Dukh. That's what Para Prakriti is doing to us. And to do that, it needs body with senses, which is made up of Apara Prakriti. So, Para Prakriti is acting through Apara Prakriti to give us the fruit of our action in terms of pleasure and pain. These are the only two things we have in life. Either we are happy or we become sad. We get hurt, we cry, right? We make a lot of money, we are very happy. So happiness or pleasure and pain, these are the only two things that Prakriti gives us. And these are only two ways the Karam Phal is administered. There is no other way. We must do Krati. The word Krati in Prakriti, there is the word Krati. Prakriti. So Krati or the action in the Prakriti or the Kshetra. We must do Krati in Prakriti. Understand? We must act in Kshetra. Perform action in Kshetra. The action with which we can separate. Now this is important to understand. We have to perform the Kriti in Prakriti so we can achieve the separation of Chetana, the Para Prakriti, with Rag, Dvesh, Sukh, Dukh. Understand now? The Para Prakriti or Chetana has what it has? It has Rag, Dvesh, Sukh, Dukh. That's what it gives us in Karam Phal, right? So we have to separate it from the Jeev. Are you with me now? Jeev is in the Apara Prakriti, and Para Prakriti is administering Rag, Dvesh, Sukh, Dukh to that Jeev. So Jeev has to do a Kriti or a Karam or an action which will separate the Chetana, the consciousness which has all these Rag, Dvesh, Sukh and Dukh from Jeev. Separation of Jeev from these two. That's kind of kriti we have to do. That's what our karma should be in human body. Otherwise, Jeev will remain subject to the cycle of birth and death under the influence of the three gunas of the Prakriti. Clear? We experience the pleasure and pain because of our attachment. Why do we experience pleasure and pain? Because of our attachment or sang to the Prakriti. That's what Bhagavan Krishna said in the 15th chapter, Asanga Shastrena Dranena Chittva. That's the only way to get out of here, to use the Asanga Shastra. How? Dranain, with Drana Nishchay. Okay? To cut off these leaves and limbs of this Ashwat tree. Now he will tell, we'll go in 15th chapter, we'll see. So this is what here it is. We feel pleasure and pain because of sang or attachment to the Prakriti. Therefore, the one who needs to know the Kshetra is Jeev. Jeev has to have the knowledge of the Kshetra. What Kshetra is and what is happening in it. And how it is happening and who is doing it. The ultimate abode where Jeev must go is Paramatma, also called Gyeya. In this chapter, Bhagavan Krishna has used the word Gyeya, the one worthy of being known. However, if we remain attached to the activities of the Prakriti, seeking the pleasure, it would be difficult to obtain Gyan. So here's something else. If we keep ourselves attached to what? To seek the pleasures of this world, there will be no time for us to learn or understand Gyan. Because this is such a terrible thing. There is no end to it. It's bottomless pit. Seeking the pleasure of the Prakriti is bottomless pit. Once you get in there, spiral downwards. You keep spiraling down. There is no way to come out of there. How we can get this Gyan then? The Ishwar Gyan. To get the Gyan, we need Ishwar Kripa. That's the only way we get Gyan. It's not sold in supermarket, it's not in any book or anywhere. Okay. It's come from Ishwar only, because Ishwar Gyan. And once we earn the Kripa, then Ishwar gives us Gyan. The Kripa is also called Karnav. So Kripa is like if you go to eat in a restaurant and the service is very good, you give a big tip, right? That's what Karnav is. When we pray to Paramatma, according to the way he laid out what we should do, it makes him happy. And when Paramatma gets happy at a certain level, he gives us that Karnav, that tip. Extra, something extra. He gives the phal of that karma, but he also gives something in addition to that. That is what Kripa is. Once we get that, that's how you get Gyan. We need to continue studying the Gyan left behind by Ishwar Avatar. Now here I want to make very clear. The Gyan of Ishwar Avatar, only Ishwar Avatar has given. It cannot be found anywhere in the books or anywhere. And he leaves. When Ishwar Avatar leaves Sansar, leaves the Gyan behind for other who are coming generation to learn from it. Even if we are unable to understand this Gyan, like Bhagavad Gita, we must keep reading it over and over again. That is part of the exercise, part of bhakti, to read that. Then one day we will be blessed with kripa and we will be able to understand the Gyan. Someday, you see, in a daily life, for example, some days we say, you know what, this is what that thing means. Right? All of a sudden, they say the light bulb went on. No? What is that? Something was sleeping, and all of a sudden it awakened in your mind. And you say, well, I got this idea now. Right? So when you practice this Bhagwan Bhakti by studying the Shastra and doing the prayer to Him only, then one day, same way, the Gyan awakens in you. And that's what getting Gyan is. The awakening of Gyan within us. Then we will be able to understand what Bhagavan Krishna is saying. Unless you have that kripa, you can read all you want to read Bhagavad Gita. There are so many thick volumes of Tika and everything else. You'll be lost. Mostly the Gita Tika which I have seen, they make it so complicated for common person to understand. They use so big words in there, Sanskrit word. Common person doesn't understand those things. You have to be Visharad, be a Visharad or something, or Shastri to understand those things. Because the people who wrote, they're writing to that level for their own peers, so it can be accepted by their peers, not by common person. That's the problem. So, common person has got to take up on himself to take the Bhagavad Gita, 700 shlokas, and read it over and over and over again, and pray to Paramatma so he can give us the Gyan, so we can understand it. That's how you'll understand. Otherwise, it's very difficult. I have a bunch of volumes sitting in my house. I'm ready to give it to somebody. I don't need him. Our human body is, now we got different angle here. Our human body is Kurukshetra. The field or the kshetra which is given to us for doing Kuru, or doing what? Karma. That's what Kurukshetra is. Kshetra in which you can do something. Kuru. What kind of karma? The one which will make it Dharam Kshetra. We got to do the karma in this Kurukshetra, so this Kurukshetra becomes Dharam Kshetra. We must convert the Kurukshetra into Dharam Kshetra, and we need to change ourselves from being Karmatma to Dharmatma. In Mahabharata, Dhritarashtra asked question, Dharam Kshetre Kurukshetre. However, if he was not the king, but an ordinary person, his question will be that what did humans do in the Kshetra? They were supposed to make the Kurukshetra into Dharam Kshetra. Did they do it? The answer is no. They could not do it. They could not do anything because they could not even become Kshetrajna. You follow me? Unless we become Kshetrajna, we cannot convert our Kurukshetra into Dharam Kshetra. How could they transform Kurukshetra into Dharamkshetra? They don't know what Kshetra, don't even know what Kshetra is. They are not Kshetragna. By becoming Kshetragna, we will be able to sow the right seed in the Kshetra, in the field, which will elevate us beyond the Prakriti. Separate Jeev from, like we said earlier, from Chetana, Sukh, Dukh, all that, Rag, Dvesh. So we have to sow the right seed in the Kshetra, so it will grow, and what comes out of it will separate us from that. And we can get beyond when I say we, Jeev can get beyond the Prakriti, the Sansar. Therefore, Bhagavan is saying that know the Kshetra and become Kshetragna. Bhagavan then said that I too come in some Kshetra. And he described the vikar in what happened in the Kshetra. These vikars are of different kinds. The ones which we talked about last time, they were physical body vikars. But vikar can occur in other parts too. When vikar happens in buddhi, it gives rise to kam and lobh. Okay? Both are, in Gita Bhagavan has said, they are two of the three doors to hell. Kam, Krodh, Lobh. These are three doors to hell. So when vikar occurs in buddhi, it gives rise to Kam and Lobh. And we talked earlier, Kam and Lobh are not but just two sides of one thing. One side is Kam, one is Lobh. Kam is physical living bodies or living people. That's Kam. Attraction to them or not liking them, that's Kam. And the Lobh is for money, Dravya. But both are one and the same. One is for Jad, other is for Chetan. One is called Kam, one is called Lobh. And they happen when the vikar occurs in our buddhi. Our thinking is not straight. All this has been described in Brahma Sutra and by many rishis. Then in Shlok 5 and 6, Bhagavan described what all is in the Kshetra. Now Bhagavan is talking about the Kshetragna. That's what we will be starting today. Kshetragna. Although Bhagavan has apprised Arjuna of Kshetragna or Atma in chapter 2, in the very beginning he said that, he did not tell as to what Kshetragna should do with the Kshetra. There he did not say what a Kshetragna should do with the Gyan of the Kshetra. He is telling that here. Here Bhagavan is describing the guna of the Kshetragna. How do you know a Kshetragna is Kshetragna? You have to see these gunas which Bhagavan is going to be describing. They have to be reflected in that person, in his persona. Then you know he is Kshetragna. The good Kshetragna is one who can produce desirable gunas by taking correct action in the Kshetra. We learned about the Kshetra, however, we can now the Gyan, we'll see the Gyan of the Kshetra not only by words but by what Kshetragna does. See, the Gyan is Jal. Okay? Gyan is a Jal Shakti. But for that Gyan to work, there has to be Ishwar Shakti behind it, which is called Gyan Shakti, then the Gyan will work. Gyan and Gyan Shakti, they are two different things, but they are together. Without Gyan Shakti, we cannot act on the Gyan. So here, what we are saying is, the Kshetrajna has the knowledge of the Kshetra, but he has to have other powers which show that he is a Kshetrajna. He develops these gunas. So these gunas gonna be making the Kshetrajna act properly in the Kshetra. So what are these gunas? So now Bhagavan is describing the characteristics of the Kshetrajna, the Jnani. So this next slok.
Amanitvamadambhitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham sthairyam vinigraha.
So in his Kshetra, what is practiced by the Kshetrajna or the Jnani? So now here we are going to start using the word Jnani for Kshetrajna, because he has got the Jnan of Kshetra, and we saw what all is in the Kshetra: Para Prakriti, Apara Prakriti, and Purush. So he knows all that. So now he's become a Jnani. So we'll use the word Jnani sometimes for Kshetrajna. So in his Kshetra, what is practiced by Kshetrajna or the Jnani? First is ahimsa. He does karma in such a way that he is practicing ahimsa. The Jnani does not indulge in any kind of hinsa. So what kind of karma should be? It should have no hinsa in it. Either mental, i.e. by thought, by speech, or by physical means, any way. In Jain Dharma, hut, obstinacy, is considered hinsa. If you do hut, no, I'm going to have only this way. This is the only way I'm going to do. That is also a sort of hinsa. Gandhiji was doing hut when he went on fasting. But that is considered, people told him that, Mahatma, that is hinsa too. Okay? Hinsa produces fear, bhaya. What hinsa does? Produces fear in other person. To cause someone to be fearful is hinsa. Just terrifying somebody that something going to happen. Whether it's going to happen or not. Just the action to have somebody really terrified, afraid of something, is also hinsa. The first characteristic of Kshetran is that he gives fearlessness to others. Nobody is afraid of him. When we come across an animal, okay, the animal is afraid of us. That's why he attacks. But if we have developed within our persona the ahimsa, that means we give fearlessness to that other animal, the animal will not do anything. He'll become friend to you. Kshetrajna is that he gives fearlessness to others. The second characteristic is amanitvam. Everyone has ambition to be important. Amanitvam. Man. Everybody wants man. Man samman. Want to be considered as, oh, big person, accomplished person. Here Jnani says, amanitvam. Don't want any man from anybody. No ambition. Because most of the ambitions are for sansar. That's all it is. Everyone has ambition to be important. It is called Mahatvakanksha. Akanksha means desire. Mahatvakanksha means desire to be Mahatvapurn, become important to others. In Mahabharata, this word has been used a lot with Dhritarashtra. The Jnani does not have this trait of Mahatvakanksha. He doesn't have Mahatvakanksha. And a Jnani wants to get involved into everything. His hands in everything. He is a very big man. My God, he is into this business, he is into that business, he is doing this, doing that. That's the sign of being a Jnani. Even though he does not possess the skill to do work in that area, he gets involved into everything. And then things don't work out, he will accuse other people for being in his way to do things. This is Agyan. He always wants to be considered as an important person by taking on many projects. Go into parties, people congregate around some one person, very important person, my God, he is the richest man, he has got so many businesses, everybody wants to go shake hands, you see. That is Mahatvakanksha in him. He likes it too. That is sign of Agyan. The Kshetrajna or Jnani has the guna called Amanitvam, due to which he does not get involved. So what we are doing here, we are learning this. To be Kshetrajna, we have to cultivate these gunas in us. Okay? We read about what Kshetrajna or Kshetra is. Now the process comes to cultivate these qualities in us so we can actually become Kshetrajna. Not by just in words, but in our actions. He stays away from the limelight. Jnani never goes in the limelight. He practices humility. The next characteristic of a Jnani is Adambhitvam. Dambh means false ego. Ego is false anyway, but this is really false ego. Pretentiousness. He pretends everything. He's got so much ego, big ego. Dambh. The Kshetrajna is unpretentious. He does not pretend to be something he is not. One who pretends does so to defraud or be deceitful. Kshetrajna knows the truth and does not pretend. He has no dambh in him. So we have to get our dambh out too. Okay? Become adambhitvam. The word tvam means to be that way. So when we say adambhitvam, that means person has no dambh in him. The way he is, there is no dambh in him. So adambhitvam means that he has no pretentiousness because he has the quality called adambhitvam. Next comes kshanti. Forbearance is also a quality of a Kshetrajna. He forgives because he has no enemy. He has no dvesh. He has no enmity towards anybody. No dvesh towards others. The one who is possessed by greed does enmity. The Kshetrajna has no greed, no lobh. Then comes Arjavam. That's another guna which one has to cultivate with their action. He is simple. Arjavam means the person is simple and straightforward. A jnani is crooked or evasive, called kutil. The word he uses kutil, evasive. He deceives people, he defrauds people. When one gets jnana, he does not hide anything. Arjavam. That's how word Arjun come from. Arjun was Arjav. Very straightforward. That's why he is asking Bhagavan question after question after question. When one gets jnana, he does not hide anything. He is straightforward, transparent. This word is transparent. Next is Acharyopasanam. To do the upasana of the Acharya or Guru. Unless one has the company of a Guru or Acharya, he cannot get the jnana. That is the gateway for jnana. So, he does upasana. Upasana doesn't mean prayer and all that. No arti or puja of Guru. No. Upasana means sit next to the Guru. Upasan. And to learn from. Like ladies do a lot of upavas. Upavas doesn't mean you stay hungry. Upavas means, vas means to be there, to be with. So that day you are with that whatever deity you are praying to. That's what upavas means. If you eat something, eat in that deity's name. You don't have to be hungry. One needs to constantly listen to the jnana. So, Acharyopasanam is a characteristic of jnana. Next is Shaucham. Purity is also one of the quality of jnani. He maintains the purity not only his body but also of his mind. That's Shaucham means. Manusmriti says, Buddhi jnanena shuddhate. The buddhi is purified by Ishwar Jnana. Buddhi jnanena shuddhate. His another gun is stharyam. His mind is steadfast, not chanchal. He is steadfast. He is sthir. Stharyam comes from sthir. The mind, chanchal mind, is the sign of an ajnani. Ajnani's mind goes every which way, everywhere. Unsteadiness is a trait of ajnani. He has no innate power. Who? The ajnani has no innate power. Power is bal, is of two types. One is bodily power, physical bal, and the other is financial or arthic power. Among animals, an elephant is steady, whereas a dog always runs around. It cannot sit steady, can. It always chases around something. So, elephant is sthir. He's got stharyam little in him. Dog doesn't have it. A man is always unsteady due to financial reasons. Right? When he's running after money, he's everywhere except where he's supposed to be. Okay? So that's what chanchal. Somebody said, you can make money on this. Oh yeah, I'm going to do that. He doesn't even know how to do it. but he gets into it because somebody said it. So he is unsteady. He always chases the money like dog chases his tail. That's what human beings do. Because they are not steady, they are unsteady, no gyan. The last quality of the Kshetra, Bhagavan said, is Atma Vinigraha. This is very important. The control of body, mind, and senses. When you say what Atma, they all come within, they all come with the Atma. So Atma Vinigraha. Man cannot rise above without self-control. It has what this means? Self-control, control of oneself, which includes mind, body, and everything, senses. Here the word Atma means the mind, man, and the two prefixes added to the word are Grah and Vi and Ni. These are the prefixes which have been added to mind, to Atma. Nigraha means restraint. And by adding the prefix Vi, it means to exercise restraint in a special way, Vishesh Roops. And the Ni, it means to negate it. Negate the grah or grabbing on to something, which is the sense objects and all that, in a special way. So that's called Atma Vinigraha. He exercised control over his mind and senses. So these are 8 gunas that characterize the Kshetrajna or the Jnani of the Kshetra. Next, Bhagavan tells how one can practice these gunas, how to go about getting these gunas.
इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम् अनहङ्कार एव च जन्म मृत्युजरा व्याधि दुःखदोषानुदर्शनम्.
Indriyartheshu vairagyam. To cultivate these qualities which just we saw, the 8 qualities, what Bhagavan says, what you should do? Indriyartheshu vairagyam. Developing vairagya for this object of senses. By removing the like or dislike for sense objects. How you do vairagya of senses? By removing the like and dislike for the object of the senses. Right? This happens when one gets Ishwar Gyan. Why? Gyan will bring the feeling in one's mind that all this is destructible, transient, for which you have like or dislike, is not real. It's here today, changes next day. It's transient. It's destructible. Association with sense object is a poisonous bondage for Atma. It is wish. There was a Granth I was reading some time ago where Vashisht is telling Ram, giving Gyan to Ram, Yoga Vashisht. Vashisht says, what is wish? Is the vikar in the mind is wish. Man Vishamata is wish. So Vishamta, what is Vishamta? Vishamta means unsteady, unbalanced. When mind is not balanced, so when mind is balanced, that mind, like and dislike are same. Become sam. When become visham, then the mind develops like or dislike. So what Vishist is telling Ram, man ki vishamta is vish. Okay? Same thing here. The association with the sense object is poisonous bondage of the Atma. Do not go even close to it. What to say of associating with these? Stay totally away from it. So, Indriyartheshu Vairagyam is characteristic of the Gyan. Not the Gyanis, characteristic of the Gyan. Gyan is what brings about Indriyartheshu Vairagyam. By telling that these are all fleeing things, they are not real, they are destructible, they are here today, gone tomorrow. Characteristic of Gyan, ahankar evacha. In addition, one needs to be devoid of egotism. In the absence of ahankar, we will consider all as equal. This ahankar within us which separate us from the other person. If there is no ahankar, no aham bhav, then we say everybody is same. Ahankar is the characteristic of ignorance and is the cause of pain. When you go to like in India, when you go in a village somewhere, everybody is very friendly. Very little ego, and some poor people have very little ego. They'll come and say, hello, how are you? Bhai Sahib, how are you doing? With a smile on their face. Okay? With Gyan, one knows that he is in the sansar for a very short time. We're not here forever. And his ahankar reduces as the Gyan grows. When the Gyan comes in and grows more and more within us, ahankar will go away. Why? Ahankar is tamogun. Gyan is prakash. Ahankar is darkness. Tamogun is darkness. Gyan is prakash, is bright light. So when there is light, ahankar goes away. Cannot stand, it cannot exist anymore. Because he now knows that all that is happening is due to the various Shakti of Ishwar. It's not he's doing, it's all Devata Shakti doing everything. They are playing this game. He knows that he is nothing in the sansar. He is here only for a short time. And Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhir. He also need to know that in sansar there is birth, Janma, Mrityu, death. That's why it's called Mrityu Lok, the lok in which there is death. We are born to die. Okay? And there is old age, Jara, old age, and disease, Vyadhi, disease. They will all happen. Jnani knows it. However, by thinking of them and seeing faults in them, we will not get apashanam. So there is a word called apashanam. Pishunuta. Pishunuta is a bad thing, avagun, which means you see the fault, seeing the fault in somebody's gun is pishunuta. So we have to be apashanam, we have to be apassion. We don't see fault in other people. The Jnani knows that with old age there will be ailments in this body. If you talk to a 16, 18-year-old person, thinks he is invincible. going to live forever. Nothing going to happen to him. But Jnani knows that as old age comes, there's going to be ailments. These ailments are of two types. One is called Adi and the other is called Vyadhi. Adi is mental ailment, depression, okay, something like that. Nowadays it is called Alzheimer. Okay. And other is Vyadhi. Vyadhi is the physical ailment which will happen in the body. Knowing all this, he prepares for these happenings. He knows it's going to happen, he prepares. Knowing that old age will be arriving, he changes his lifestyle. He does different things with his body. It has been said, Heyam Dukhanu Agatam. Think of the upcoming pain before it arrives and prepare to deal with it. Jnani does that. Jnana teaches us these things going to happen and we have to prepare for it and how to do it, go about it. So Bhagavan says that the Jnani does not ponder on the pain and evil inherent in birth, death, old age and disease. Jnani doesn't dwell on it. Dwelling won't help anything. You have to do something about it. He prepares to face them. Next, Bhagavan says, what else Jnani does?
Asaktiranabhishwangaha putradaragrahadishu nityam cha samachittatvam ishtanishtopapatishu.
Asakti. Now something here some people may not like what Bhagavan is saying, but that's okay. Jnani will accept it. Asakti, he performs all his duties and work, but with no attachment to them. Asakti. Okay? They not having any sakti is asakti. Not having any attachment to whatever we are doing, daily life work, we have no attachment, should not have any attachment to it. This is my job, I'm doing it, it's done and over. Thus, he does not get pain. Pain happens with sakti. With asakti, there is pain. One has asakti in the enjoyment or the bhog of the karam phal. Jnani does that. But Jnani does not want this, the enjoyment of the bhog. Jnani doesn't want to enjoy the bhog. He's just doing the bhog, going through the cycle, going through the whole practice. So he has left all this to Paramatma. Whatever bhog is coming, he leaves it all to Paramatma. It's up to you, Parameshwar. You do whatever needs to be done. He doesn't bother himself with this. Anibheshang, meaning that he does not attach himself to anyone or anything. Okay? Two things here. To anyone or anything. Attaching to anyone gives rise to kam. That's the vikar of the buddhi. Attaching to anything gives rise to lobh. That also is vikar of the buddhi. So Jnani stays away from getting attached to anyone or anything. What are these things and ones? Putra dara grahadishu. Who do we get attached to mostly? Children, wife, house or the abode and the rest. That's what attachment, sansar, what else we have to attach to? There's nothing to be attached to in sansar. But Bhagavan Krishna says, yes, you do sang. Maya sakta mana partha. Asakti, lagao, attachment. You have it, but you channel it towards me, Bhagavan says. Mai asakta mana. Your man, he Parth, put your mind, attach your mind to me. Then you will be away from everything else. Otherwise, sansar, if you don't do that, sansar will catch you. You will be facing with asakti to what? Putra dara graha dashu. Okay. Attachment to these things end in pain. If we consider the house as a motel, okay, then there will be the idea that we will have to leave it one day. I mean, when you go check into a motel, do you really make sure that room is real nice and clean when you leave? No. You don't care for it. It's not your room. Same way, Jnani says, how abode is abode. It's something to protect me from my body, from the elements. That's what it is for. I'm going to leave it one day anyway. Why get attached to? A lot of people in their house, if somebody accidentally did little thing, little ding or something in their house, or broke a brick, they really get upset, because their Atma is in that house. They have put their Atma in the house. Atma should not be in material thing. Atma doesn't grow in these things because they are immaterial. They are dead. Atma cannot grow in dead medium. Atma grows only in living Chetan medium, like other human beings. So your Atma will grow when you have more and more experience with other people, human beings, not car or house and all that. So then what is to be done? Says nityam cha samachittatvam ishta anishta anishtopapattiti pattishu. And always, nityam means constantly, remain equipoise, samachittam. Equipoise of what? Of the chit. Your chit should be sam. Visham becomes what? Vish. So keep your chit sam. In the occurrence of isht or as well as the anisht. Whether something happens which is isht, which is good, or anisht, which means it's not good, your chit should be sam, not visham. That's what Jnani has to do. It is quite difficult thing to do. It's not easy. Ishwar Bhakt and Jnani lives their life this way. A true Bhakt or true Jnani will live their life this way. To accomplish all this, what should be done? Is the next slok.
Mai chananya yogena bhaktiravvyabhicharini vivikta desha sevitvam aratirjana samsadi.
Bhagavan says, Ananya Yogena. Through Ananya Yoga, meaning leaving others aside, leave everyone away, leave everyone aside You see, people worship Devi, Devata, and even human beings in this world. Or even dead people also they worship. Bhagavan says, leave all those and use the Ananya Yoga for my bhakti abhyavicharani, for unflinching devotion to me, with unflinching devotion to me. So Bhagavan says that do not worship anyone else but me and me alone through unflinching, unswearing bhakti of me. Don't deviate, because if you are not steady in the bhakti of Ishwar, then you will go to one of those entities like Devta or human beings or whatever. So this is called Ananya Bhakti. And what else you should do? Vivikt Desh Sevitvam. Become a recluse. Vivikt Desh. What kind of Desh? What kind of place? There is nobody else around there. Vivikt Desh. Sevitvam. You go and live in a place where there is nobody else. I have seen Jnani people who live in mountains somewhere. They don't come out to meet people. They go for bhiksha once a day, and they go take bhiksha and then go away. In Vivikt Desh, they live in solitude, like a recluse. Live in a secluded, holy place. A true Jnani seeks to live in only such places, because when there are other people around, they and he can discuss about others. Whereas he is only to think and talk of me, Bhagavan says. He only needs to think and talk about me, Bhagavan saying. But if he goes with other people where a lot of people are there, they will all talk to him, he'll talk to them, and then his mind will go in different direction. So Jnani stays in Vivikta Desh. And Arati Jan Sansadi. The word Rati means finding delight. Okay? Rati means to find delight. Arati means he doesn't find any delight in. Arati. He has no delight in what? Jan Sansadi. Where there are a lot of people are together, Jan Sansadi. That's where Sansad come from in India, you see. Parliament, Sansad. So in Jan Sansadi, where there is a lot of people, he has no rati in it. He is a rati. He stays away from it, from the crowd. So, in the presence of many worldly people, he stays away from it. This is opposite to solitude. A Jnani does not seek the company of others. He lives in solitude and does Ananya Bhakti of Ishwar. Then what he does?
Adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam etaj jnanamiti proktam ajnanam yadatonyatha.
The word Adhyatma means to live with the support of the Atma. Adhi Atma, called Adhyatma. So living with the support of Atma only is called Adhyatma. The Gyan of Atma and Paramatma is Adhyatma, because you live with the support of the Gyan of Atma and Paramatma. That's Adhyatma. The Gyan of the body or the Kshetra, Kshetra is also called Atma. Man is also called Atma. Buddhi also part of the Atma. Senses and that of Paramatma, they are all included in Adhyatma. Therefore, Bhagavan is saying that pursue the Adhyatma Gyan every day, Nityatvam. Regularly, you study the Adhyatma Gyan because it's difficult to catch. It's like somebody explained to me, Gyan, it's just a metaphor. The milk of a sherni, can only be held in urn of gold. Okay? Nothing else will hold it. So what he's saying, this Gyan thing, only gold is the purest of the metals. It doesn't rust, nothing happened to it. So when you become like gold, your mind becomes pure as gold. Then Adhyatma Gyan will stay in it. Okay? Then what else he should do? Tattva Jnanarth Darshanam. This is very important, very deep thing to understand, and we must understand this. The darshan of Tattva. Darshan is called philosophy also. Darshan, right? Darshan means to see. How do you see? You see through Gyan, not through eyes. Tattva Darshanam. You see Tattva. How do you see it? Gyan and Arth. Gyan Artha Darshanam. It is important to know as to what it means. We know by now that there are 5 tattva, 5 bhut. Here Bhagavan says, know the vidya or the science of these 5 bhut and know what is the arth of knowing these 5 gyan of 5 bhut. The vidya of 5 bhut is the gyan of Devata whose powers are behind each one of these tattva. That's the tattva darshan. And the word arth means labh is in context of moksha. Purusharth. Dharma, arth, kam, moksha. So what is the arth of our life, human life? Is to go to achieve moksha. So, to learn the Gyan or Vidya of 5 tattva for achieving moksha. Moksha is the goal of each human being and it means to be free from the cycle of birth and death. In this context, the word arth means purusharth, doing something good, right, to go get the moksha, which is defined as the object of man's creation and existence. That is why man was created and man exists, because man has to do, Purush has to do Purusharth. What is the Purusharth? Tattva Jnanana Darshanam. So, for moksha, the Jnani does the Tattva Jnanarth Darshan every day. From the Tattva Jnan, he knows that there are 3 kinds of painful experiences. These are called Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik and Adi Daivik. Adi Bhautik, the troubles or pain inflicted by other prani bhut. Adi Bhautik. Somebody, that's why Jnani doesn't stay around anybody else. He's by himself, separate. He has Gyan to live with. Adhyatmik, the trouble or pain from the body, sense and mind and buddhi. Man inflicts these by himself, upon himself. Here Adi denotes the trouble caused by your own mind. There's nothing else to do than sitting there and thinking about something which don't even exist and feeling bad about it. Okay? Giving pain to yourself through your thought process. It's just, that's called Adi Adhyatmik. Next is Adi Daivik. Now, Adi Daivik is something like is the pain inflicted by the nature, Prakriti, Daiv. For example, earthquake, California fires. They are all Adi Daivik, Daivi work. Hurricanes. These affect many pranibhut. Knowing this, the jnani protects himself from their wrath. Iti proktam etat jnanam. Thus, what has been said is jnana. This Bhagavan says, all this is what jnana is. Yat atha anyatha ajnanam. And what is other than this, which I have told you, Bhagavan says, it is anyatha, means it is ajnan. So here Bhagavan Sri Krishna is saying to Arjun that what I have said here is jnana and everything else is anyatha jnana, meaning the jnana of others and not my jnana, the Ishwar jnana. Such jnana has its roots in ajnan. Anyatha jnana comes out of ajnan. So here it has been made very clear that what Bhagavan Sri Krishna has said in Gita is jnana. Any other jnana, be it saying of rishis or jnana of Vedas and that of Brahma Sutra or other granth, they are all represent anyatha jnana, since their origin is trigunatmak, not nirgun. Here Bhagavan said that this is the characteristic of the jnana. Anything other than that is ajnan. Etat jnanam iti proktam. He emphasized that one who has this jnana must bring it into practice, acharan. Just having jnana is not enough. You must practice according to the jnana. He said that one whose life practices are based on the jnana, which we call acharan, that acharan is the characteristic or the property of the jnana, not just knowing the jnana. And ajnanam yatato nyatha. Those who do not think on the jnana in the sansar, they are ajnani. So, in the shlok 5 and 6, Bhagavan talked about kshetra, and in shlok 7 and 8 described kshetragna. Then in shlok 9 and 10, there is description of the characteristic of the lakshan, characteristic or the lakshan of jnani. Now, here in shlok 11, Bhagavan said that the one who knows the kshetra, meaning the kshetragna, is jnani. But he is jnani only when he does acharan. Not having jnana is not enough. You must do acharan according to the jnana. Then and only then you are called jnani. Because the practice or acharan of jnana is the characteristic of or the lakshan of jnana. How you know what jnana is? By the acharan or the practice of the jnana. Then that's the characteristic. That's how you say that is the jnana. Let's look at this again. Bhagavan is saying that have the jnana of the kshetra and the kshetragna, and with this jnana perform karma in the kshetra, then we will do the right karma in the right way. Thus, Bhagavan says the Gyan about Kshetra and Kshetragna. Now the subject matter changes to Geya, the Vastu which is behind the Gyan and the Acharan, through which the Kshetragna is performing karma in the Kshetra. We will start that next time. The subject matter is now changing to Geya, the power behind the Gyan and everything else, which is Paramatma. So we'll talk about it next time. Jai Shri Krishna.